Christmas Noel. A Dickensian Tale for Our Times. By Alan Frederick. Stave 1. In which Christmas appears full, yet empty. In the bustling town of Fairbridge, where every lamppost glittered and every window glowed, Christmas had arrived with all its customary clamor. The streets rang with carols, the shops overflowed with tinsel and trinkets, and the town square boasted a nativity scene so polished and picturesque that even old Charles Dickens might have paused to admire it. Yet something was wrong. For though the shepherds stood in their places, and the wise men knelt in their frozen devotion, the manger, the very heart of the scene, lay empty. Another one stolen? Sighed the constable. Baby Jesus gone missing again. Third one this week. And so begins our tale. Thomas Bright, a weary soul with more questions than answers, had spent the afternoon wandering the aisles of Bargain Barn, a sprawling emporium of markdowns and merriment, its wooden rafters and rustic beams unintentionally echoing the very barn of Bethlehem. He had seen Christmas trees stacked to the ceiling, lights blinking like frantic stars, inflatable Santas wobbling in perpetual cheer, and enough wrapping paper to swaddle the world twice over. But the Christ child? Nowhere. He returned home and flipped through the cable channels, hoping perhaps to find him there. But every movie was a love story. Every special was about family, good cheer, or exchanging gifts. There were tales of goodwill and warm feelings, of snowstorms and reconciliations, of miracles that never mentioned the miracle maker. He watched a dozen Christmas stories, and not one contained Christ. Even the stories, he whispered, have forgotten the story. He turned off the television, sat in silence and stared out the frosted window. Outside, the town square glowed with pageantry. Inside, his heart ached with absence. He did not yet know it, but the night had prepared a visitation for him. Stave 2. The Ghost of Christmas Misplaced. Thomas awoke to a soft rustling at the foot of his bed. There, glowing faintly in the moonlight, stood a small plastic figure. The very baby Jesus stolen from the town square. Fear not, said the figurine, its voice gentle yet grave. I am the Christ child you have misplaced. Thomas blinked. But, you're just a decoration. Indeed, replied the child. And so you have made me. The room dissolved, and Thomas found himself walking through the town. Everywhere he looked, he saw nativity sets. In yards, in storefronts, in church foyers, each one missing its central figure. You have built me scenes, said the child, but not space. You have carved me statues, but not room in your hearts. You have placed me in plastic, but not in practice. They passed a church where a Christmas pageant was underway. Children in robes recited lines, parents filmed with their phones, and applause filled the sanctuary. But where am I? Asked the child. Thomas looked. The manger was empty. Stave 3. The Ghost of No Kings. A trumpet blast split the air, and the scene shifted. Thomas now stood in the midst of a rally, signs waving, voices shouting. No kings in America. Down with monarchs. We bow to none. At the center stood a tall, stern figure, robed like Herod of old, though dressed in modern attire. I am the spirit of earthly power, he declared, and I fear any king but myself. The crowd roared. Thomas trembled. Is this what we've become? The spirit nodded. You celebrate a holiday about a king, yet refuse his rule. You sing of his birth, yet resist his reign. You want a baby in a manger. Harmless, silent, sentimental. But not a king who commands allegiance. The wise men appeared beside Thomas, their faces solemn. We sought him, they said. We traveled far. We bowed low. But you search Bargain Barn aisles and wonder why you cannot find him. The shepherds joined them. We left our flocks. You will not leave your comforts. The spirit of earthly power sneered. You have no kings in America, and so you have none in your hearts. Stave 4. The Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. A cold wind swept through the square, and the world dimmed, until only a single figure remained. Tall, cloaked, and silent. No face could be seen beneath the hood, yet Thomas felt its gaze pierce him deeper than any words could. You, Thomas whispered. You must be the spirit of Christmas yet to come. The figure did not speak but lifted a hand, long, pale, and unwavering, and pointed toward the heavens. The sky split open, not with snow, not with stars, but with fire and glory. Thomas shielded his eyes as a radiant figure descended. Not a baby, not a child, but a king. His eyes were like flames, his voice like rushing waters, and on his robe and on his thigh was written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Thomas trembled. This is Jesus? The Spirit nodded. Gone was the manger. Gone the swaddling cloths. Gone the gentle lullaby of Bethlehem. This was the Christ of Revelation. The one who rides the white horse. The one before whom every knee bows. The one who judges the nations with righteousness. Thomas watched as crowds fled. Not from a baby but from a king they had ignored. He saw pageants crumble. Lights flicker out and all the glitter of Christmas fade like mist before the sun. And then he saw something worse. People searching for the baby in the manger. But the manger was empty. The barn was empty. The world was empty. Because they had looked down when they should have looked up. The Spirit's voice finally broke the silence. Low and solemn. You search for a child in a crib. But you must prepare for a king on a throne. Thomas fell to his knees. What must I do? The Spirit pointed, not to the sky but to Thomas's own chest. A heart. A throne. A choice. And then the vision vanished. Stave 5. The search. Thomas found himself alone in a vast marketplace of Christmas cheer. Lights blinked. Bells jingled. Artificial snow drifted from machines. Everywhere he turned, he saw the trappings of the season. But never the one it claimed to celebrate. Where are you? Thomas cried. A voice answered behind him. I am where I have always been, among the humble, the seeking, the surrendered. Thomas turned and saw the Christ child again, no longer plastic but radiant with quiet authority. You will not find me in the noise, he said, nor in the pageantry, nor in the glittering aisles of commerce. I am not lost, but you have wandered. Thomas fell to his knees. Then show me where to look. Stave 6. The Christ of Christmas found. The child touched Thomas's shoulder, and suddenly he was back in his room. The dawn of Christmas morning crept through the window. But something had changed. Thomas rose not to unwrap gifts or check his phone but to kneel, seek, and to surrender. And as he did, he felt the presence he had been searching for. Not in a manger. Not in a store. Not in a pageant. But in the quiet chambers of a heart finally yielded. Outside, the town square unveiled a new nativity scene. This time the manger was not empty. For Christ had been found. Not because he returned, but because someone finally looked in the right place. And so the truth of the tale rang out with quiet authority. Jesus is not searching for a church to attend, nor a pageant to participate in, nor a carol to be sung in his honor, nor any of the trappings we pile around Christmas. He is searching for a heart to inhabit, a life to transform, and a soul to save. For he is found by the seekers, seen by the searchers, and revealed to the hearts that truly look for him. If this story stirred something in you, don't let the search end here. Look beyond the noise, beyond the glitter, and find the true heart of Christmas. Seek, surrender, and let the King find a throne in your heart. Subscribe for more stories that challenge and inspire.